Well, once again, we'll be getting into The Superior Man. It's a wonderful book. We both have read it well before doing this episode. Me personally, this book made a very huge shift in my life in the way that I treated all women in my life, and my mother, my sisters, the mother of my child. I mean, it really enlightened me to carry myself a different way and showed me some of the energies that I was displacing when prior to having read this book, you know. But I'd like to ask you, man, you know, just a little brief, what's the book about to you?
Man, you can tell when I smile, I'm ready to get into this one.
Yeah.
We are accepting shorter time.
Just tell me like a little bit, like how do you, before we get into it, what does the book mean to you?
Oh wow, what does the book mean to me? This is a powerful book, first of all. It's a very powerful book. Ultimately, it means to be a superior man.
Yeah.
You know, to be deeply sourced in your presence. You know, and to actually know who you are. I think this book opened up the fulfillment that I was looking for as a man. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, hey, why do I not feel fulfilled when I take care of X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
However, once I'm on my mission, I'm on my purpose, oh man, this is what fulfillment is. Oh wait, but just because I'm in my purpose, I'm in my mission, other people around me are close to me, feel like X, Y, and Z, this isn't right, or that isn't it, or this isn't that. Why do I then still feel unfulfilled if I try and spend a little bit of time with this person, make this person happier, to spend a little bit of time with that person, make this person happier, to do whatever, and started to realize just overall how to be fulfilled as a man. You know, as we were just talking about before, you know, kind of kicked it off into this book, but how difficult it is in today's society to even be proud in your masculinity. You know?
Yeah. It's difficult, but it's only difficult because sometimes we care what others believe. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen a carefree person, like, just doing something that was, to you, maybe a little weird, or like, you know, or a person that can wear anything, you know, like, they are so secure with themselves, they need not worry with the thoughts of others, you know, and that's definitely part of being a superior man, because at the end of the day, can't nobody go in that grave for you, you know.
Facts.
So, hey, man, you let your choices be your choices and never anyone else's.
Hey, man, that's tough. That's tough, you know. You got real life responsibilities, real people counting on you, and that choice that you got to make is to, you know, chase your dream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it talks about that in the book a lot, in terms of how a real man doesn't allow anything to stop him from pursuing his dream, his purpose, his mission, whatever word you want to use to kind of supplement that. That's true.
Yeah.
The real man doesn't allow his family to be an excuse if there's something he really feels inside of him he needs to do.
Man, yeah.
But you speak on that though heavily. You know what I'm saying? In terms of your belief, like caring about what others believe. You know, you can see how that's kryptonite to a lot of people.
Dude, no, it is.
It touches that in other.
It is social media. You know. Yeah. I mean, hey, you let it get to you. You let it get to you. You know what I'm saying? But we've all been there. I mean, I've been on social media looking at myself like, oh man, I gotta do this or I gotta do that if I want to talk to this kind of girl or that kind of girl, if I want this to happen or that to happen in my life, you know. But that stuff it's a snapshot. I mean, you ever took a family picture with kids in it?
Yeah.
The picture looks great. The moment though, it's very hard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, family picture, awesome. But if you was able to like go into that picture and be there with them, and that kid smiled for 3 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy had to take 50 pictures to catch it. You know? Yeah. But that's life, man. But let's get into some of these lessons, man, out of that book. I'll kick us off. I jotted down
Man, that was
quite a bit. Yeah, quite a bit, but I'll start with this. A few ways that a man should move. Firstly, stop hoping for completion of anything in life. For example, one day my woman will understand me and stop complaining.
Yeah.
Let's just start there.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna move in your life without you moving in your life, right?
Yeah.
And in today's episode, these are things that women can take and listen to look for in a man. But these are mostly for men, young men, old man, no matter who you are, what age range you're in, you should be moving like this, right? You should not be waiting for anything to move in your life, right? And because you're denying your higher purpose at that point. You know, you're denying who you are truly, you know, at that point. So, and especially, you will not have a fulfilling relationship when you're waiting for things to move in your own relationship.
Yeah. No, man, it's powerful. It's powerful a lot. I think a lot of times people kind of say, especially men, it's like, you know, one day when things are okay, I'll start then. You know, hopefully when kids are this age, things should be like this, and I'll start then. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully one day my woman might not be like this. You know, so, but ultimately, you know, like you just said, you know, you gotta stop hoping for completion of anything. But as you touched in the previous episode, you know, change is the only guarantee. And things are constantly changing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, man, I think it's definitely something to hold up as a standard in your life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think one of the first things I said a little earlier in that beginning part, women don't lie.
Facts.
Right?
Facts. Yeah.
A lot of people may have their feelings towards that. A lot of guys, you know, like, nah, she lied. You know? Which, hey, in the moment though, man, you really think about it, she did not lie to you. She told you how she felt.
Yeah.
She told you how she felt. Now, guess what?
Hey, but that's the crucial part, though.
She told
you how she felt.
That moment.
Felt.
Yeah.
Not logically came up to with an answer to tell you how she felt.
Man. Yeah, the logic could be out the window. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It might not be a logical feeling, but it's how she feels.
Yeah.
So you take it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You deal with it as it is.
Yeah.
And not try to make it out. I mean, as men, like the book explains, sometimes we always try to find point X gets to point Y equals point Z.
Yeah.
When with a woman, you're trying to navigate emotions, mostly emotions and stuff.
Yeah.
You're not going to get point X to point Y to point Z.
No.
You're going to get X, then you're going to get the letter A in there. And you're going to be like, whoa, how do we get to A? A all the way back at the beginning, you know? Then you're going to end up with C at the end. And it's like, what's going on here?
Right.
But, you know, you stay in that lane where you're always looking on the outside in.
Yeah.
You can keep your emotions cool, and you can understand that this is just how she feels now.
Yeah.
So you address that feeling. You address that itself, if necessary. If necessary. Sometimes your woman may tell you how she feels, and there's nothing for you to do other than to hear it, accept it, and keep it going.
Right.
You know, it's not meant for you to have a long conversation to figure out, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, man, he touches on that in the book, though.
Yeah.
You know, the feminine, as he likes to say often, versus saying women. You know what I'm saying? The feminine will always seem chaotic. You know.
And just for our viewers, you know, I will say that this book speaks from masculine and feminine energy.
Yes.
As in, he states in the book, that could be a homosexual relationship, that could be, you know, a more masculine woman and a more feminine man. But most of the time, it's going to be a masculine man and a feminine woman And that's where a lot of it, but it correlates with all of them. So no matter what kind of relationship you have, you need a balance of masculine and feminine energy. So you have to let somebody be the lead, no matter what. And sometimes I feel like that can open up our eyes with dating. Because then you look at who you're with now, and maybe, you're a masculine man, and you might love and like see a lot in this woman. She might be a masculine woman, throwing off your balance, and you're throwing off her balance.
True. Right?
So you have to find, what your harmonious balance is, right? And you first have to understand what you are. What am I trying to do in a relationship? Should I even be in a relationship if I'm not that man?
Yeah.
Right?
I will say this, so we can go ahead and mention, as we begin to say feminine and masculine, so people do understand it. When it speaks of masculine, we're trying to figure out if I'm masculine or if I'm feminine. Masculine is someone whose primary focus is the mission, reaching true freedom. And the feminine is about love and making sure the flow of love in their life is, just as important to them as, a masculine man going towards true freedom for him. But yeah, man, he touches on that, though. He truly touches on that, and it's kind of funny and it's kind of messed up, but I don't feel like, because nowadays, like, a lot of that kind of gets muddled in terms of, like, I'm a masculine man, this is a feminine woman. You know what I'm saying? But you can see it very heavily in, like, the gay community. Yeah. They're very, like, look at a gay couple, there's usually one person that is, like, primarily pole is the masculine energy, what is the feminine energy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He touches on this in the book in terms of, like, the poles, there should be a balance. So, yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah, like how you look at it, but
that was crucial though. He touched on that part of, like, you could be a masculine man, and you could be dealing with a masculine woman. The energy may be greater, moments may be great, you guys spend together, but it's not an actual balance for either of you.
It's the sexual polarity be way off.
Yeah,
that's how he said to you. You won't have sexual tension because both of you trying to be the nigga. And that's just, so find what your balance is, and definitely check out the book.
And also, being a superior man, I really touched on this, does not mean you have to be masculine and feminine man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he said you don't have to be you could be a superior man, not be the breadwinner.
Yeah.
She can make more money than you. Hell, you could be a stay-at-home dad.
Facts.
But if somebody breaks in this house, who's stopping it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I saw seriously. I saw a TikTok, man. It was a lady and her man, and I'm just keeping it a buck, like she asked him if this fish was like a pond away from the lake.
Yeah.
And she was, he was barely surviving. She asked her man to get the fish into the lake. Let's just say he could not get the fish, right? He was just like, it's slipping, like, it was very feminine energy, right?
Yeah.
Then she grabbed the fish, and took it to the lake, right?
Really?
So obviously I don't know the dynamic of them, but I mean the comments was giving it to them, like damn, both those women tried their best, like they were giving it to him.
It is to take it there,
but but like, let's say she has more masculine energy though,
right,
and he has more feminine energy. Does not make him less of a man, because who knows? Like, hey, they might live in a nice ass house. She might have everything in her life, and that's because of him. Because he's handling his business as a man in that area.
Yeah.
But stuff like this, he might not be as masculine with, and she is, and that's a balance.
Absolutely.
Hey, they might have been outside because of her. He might not even like being in the wilderness. Yeah, but you don't like to touch a fish, man. I don't know why you hiking out there.
Right. Hey, but we only saw that video or found that video because of social media.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So in reality, it's probably been that way in their relationship. Were they older, younger?
They were probably in their 30s.
They had been together since maybe late 20s or mid 20s, so she probably already knew You know what I'm saying? Maybe.
Maybe.
You know, maybe. I don't really know. We only saw that because of social media. So they do have a happy relationship. You know, I'm sure she understands.
No, she was laughing. You know, it looked like she was discussing her man not being able to grab the fish.
Right.
You know? But you know that as an example, like I said, that could be an example of some balance. You know, and that you could still be a man, you could still be a superior man.
Yeah.
You know.
And he touches on this in a variety of ways. Even though I just gave the analogy of like you know, masculine energy and man, feminine energy in terms of true freedom and true love, but he gives a wide range of analogies for you to actually determine, like, you know, what your side of the pole is. You know what I'm saying? Rather if it's during sex, if you like to be the person pinning the other person down, or if you like to kill the cockroach, or he goes a wide range of poles so you can understand. But it is vital that you do understand what pole you operate on so you can actually pick the right partner.
Yeah.
You know?
No, for real.
And even though we're talking about a lot of like the man and woman dynamic in terms of relationship, it also does deal with a lot of information on purpose, mission, family, responsibilities, what it means to be a superior man, and all of that.
Right. We get to touch on more of that. You know, another key lesson I took away that I got jotted down here. One of my favorite ones, because I had a problem with this early on.
Yeah.
You know, never change your mind just to please a woman. If a woman tells you something that changes your perspective, then you should make a new decision based on your new perspective. A man should never deny his deepest intuition and by letting a woman make his decision for him. Right? So we can get into that one a little bit, which one of my favorite lines in that book, because like I said, man, like I was kind of doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like judging what I should have in my life based on what women that, you know, I wasn't even with saying, and based on stuff that women that I was with saying. You know, you might watch something on social media, or man, it has to have this and do this, and you're in your mind, you're like, well, this is what women want. You know, that's what that woman wants. You know what I'm saying? That's what she wants, all right? And guess what? She can have it.
I'll tell you one thing, man, you cooking.
You know, it's what do you know, you gotta know what you are looking for.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And then you gotta know who you need to be. Well, you gotta know who you need to be first, and then know what you're looking for.
Right.
You know, or whichever way. But you gotta know. Then when you have it, you will squander it. I mean, squander it. Like, let's say you know, all right, I gotta work these 7 days to save this money for her birthday trip, right? Because the rest of these weeks they already accounted for. So I got saved right here for her birthday trip, right? Let's say to please your woman, though, that same week she wanted you to, you know, take her out to dinner. You know what I'm saying? And she wanted to go to an expensive place. You know, mind you, that's your woman. But you know, right, man, if I do the dinner thing, you know, that's going to cut into the money for the boat trip once we're there, you know, on vacation. Now, you make that. So if you made that decision to please her, now you get to her birthday, which matters more to her, but you displease her because you did not have it as you knew you should for that moment. But you also knew in the moment before that you were making a decision that was going to hinder that in the future. Right? Now, even, you know, let's say your woman gives you some business advice, and it's good advice. You take that advice, and you now take the new perspective you have, and still then decide if it's a good decision to make. You do not just take that advice and go run with it. You know, because like he said, you can't deny your deepest true intuitions. Man. Like I said, that was one that I really had to learn. You know,
it's an important one.
It's
an important one for sure. That decision was just said, and that could have cost him the relationship in this hypothetical scenario.
Literally. That could be your mother too, by the way. Facts. That could be your mother telling you to go to
any woman in your life. Any woman in your life.
Literally. Telling you to go to a certain school. telling you to move in a certain neighborhood,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you're denying your deepest intuition, listening to that woman.
Yeah.
All right. She can't go in the grave for you.
Yeah.
Keep saying that one.
Man, I will say this much, after reading this book, you got a woman business coach.
Yeah.
You got a woman business coach. After reading this book, also had a couple of men business coaches as well, but they were out in Jersey, and the one that she was here in Michigan. So for a lot of, I would definitely rely on her and call her for business decisions and stuff like that. When it came to life decisions, I may let her know of some things that was going on, but I was always reaching out to the men business coaches to gain that piece of advice. Now, obviously, that was after reading this book. You know what I'm saying? But just even in that, I noticed that our relationship, I felt like there was a bit more respect added there because of that. You know what I'm saying? Because women are women at the end of the day. Now, I do want to touch on this, man. A man's worth is based on his presence, his true depth of awareness. The way of the superior man is the way of deep gaze, breath, and purpose, and it can't be fake. So right now you are knowing who you are at depth, or you're avoiding it. And I think that's what touches when you kind of bring up the two poles a lot of the times, or purpose in general a lot of the times. I think a lot of people avoid what they know in their core. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But why do you think that is? Because of fear? Because it touches on fear too as well. It says fear is a lack of trust in now. And you've never heard this analogy or this definition of fear before if you've never read this book.
Yeah.
Usually it's something else. And
false evidence appearing real.
Right. But you notice it says fear is a lack of trust in now. Fear is saying no to some aspect of the present moment.
Yeah.
And it tells you to feel what is as it is. Now, how crucial is that? How crucial is it knowing that? You know what I'm saying?
By the way, if you're a man, please read this book.
The Way of the Superior Book. Audiobooks, you can get it from Apple Books, Audible. They might have a copy on YouTube if you can afford it. Or rather, you just don't want to spend the money because you're not sure if it's actually something worth buying. Yeah. YouTube is definitely a great option for that. I mean, we read,
man, a lot. I will say, man, you do watch it. It's on right. The top comment says, "Who's here because of Nipsey?" Man,
that's how I found
that. And you shared it to me.
Yeah. So shout out to the Breakfast Club. That was an old interview they did with.
And his woman gave him the book. Yeah, let's not forget that. His woman gave him the book. Yeah. So yes, ladies, you can have conscious thought to make your man better. Give him a book to read.
Yeah. A
book that you know could help him. Like I've been in a relationship where it's like, hey, it would have been nice had because that shows that she cares about what he's doing and how he's moving.
You also have to know enough of what he's going for to know that this applies to his life.
Man, you said it best. But to your previous point, man, why does that fear get in the way of men? I think the quote says it best, man, because it's the fear of the now. Just in the moment, right? Like, what's something that I've feared? There's been moments where I feel like things were going well, and then I fear the obstacle that's probably about to come because things are going well, But that's fear in the now, because I look at what I have right now and I'm like, I don't have enough to weather certain things, or I don't have the time to, if this car breaks down, I'm going to keep taking care of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That fear will create that reality.
Yeah.
That's why he's telling you to get out of that fear, so you can stay in the now. If that does happen, there will be another thing that comes along that's going to keep you going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's always a way around that obstacle.
Yeah. We're going to touch that book too.
Yeah, please. We will.
Yeah, but that's why he says live completely. Know your purpose, give your gift. He says those three a lot throughout this book, especially in that first half. And obviously, we're only, this is only part one, so we're not even really touching the core of what this book has to offer. But he says live completely, know your purpose, and give your gift. I think a lot of times people have that fear there because they're not truly living on their edge. And he talks about that, how as men, we should not have someone in our circle who isn't living to their edge.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that this person's edge is your edge. It just means they're living to whatever their edge is. And you have to know your edge as a man. As a man, you have to know your edge, and you can't fake it. He constantly says that. Live on your edge.
I got it. That was one of my quotes from him. Know your real edge and don't fake it.
Yeah.
Know your real edge and don't fake it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think right after that he said, any man that lies to himself is weakening him, his own core.
Yeah.
You know, because he's denying his true purpose, his true intuition.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, man, know your edge. You know what I'm saying? Where do I have an edge?
Yeah.
You know, and don't fake it. Like, be one of the things that the book it never says, but he's continuously telling you is to be you.
Yeah.
Unless you are weak and don't even know yourself.
Yeah.
So then he's telling you to find yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he says, like, hey man, like you might need to take a month off and soul search.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. He's like, you might not be able to afford a month. Take a week off.
Yeah.
Soul search. Because the biggest thing you gotta do is get you.
Facts.
You know?
Don't play games. Don't go out drinking. Don't go on any random dates.
Man.
Is when he says that point, when he speaks on that point of soul searching, and don't go have fun, don't go sleep on the couch. Get up and get after that one task of searching to who you really are.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Great book to that sidebar. I know we got to cover this, but A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
Yeah,
about the Nazi camp. Yeah, man, that's got so many books to cover.
That's a man. Yeah. That's the first time I've heard that name. The second, Man's Search for Meaning.
Yeah, it's deep. It's deep.
Man, I think we all watched The Boy with Striped Pajamas in school growing up. You know, if you've seen The Boy in Striped Pajamas, basically go deeper and put it into a book.
Yeah, that's very detailed out.
Very detailed.
Yeah. We're gonna touch it when we touch it.
Man, you know, almost changed the whole show.
Yeah, no, that was a good one. That was a good one for sure.
Seriously, but
knowing your edge.
Knowing your edge, man.
It's actually soul searching, though. It says that like a task for you to do is to find out who you are, so you can be fulfilled, so you can fulfill your inner core as a man.
No,
you know
what he spoke on right before that know your edge part, which really helps with that, is live as if your father is dead. Man must make decisions without his father's expectations in order to be a free man.
Yeah, that was real.
I mean, I could go back to being a child.
Yeah.
And be like, I would almost feel like I needed to make up something happened today at school to tell my dad.
Yeah.
Because every day was like trying to, raise my level to please my father. And I did not have a dad that was like trying to make me do that. It was just kind of like I wanted to do it. It was this natural urge that was just in my body. You know what I'm saying? Maybe from having siblings and, your brother comes home with A's, your sister comes home with A's. It's hey, I dunked on the kid at recess today. Dad, I gave him some bad sauce. You trying to find something good in your day to have, But it's but you get older and older and older with that energy.
Yeah.
Now you're picking out your job. College. At first I wanted to be a physical therapist like my dad, and it wasn't, I was not actively thinking like I want to impress my dad, but I was subconsciously moving like I want to impress my dad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I moved out at 18 the second I could, right? Because I want to impress my dad. I want to show my dad I could be my own man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But being your own man is learning how to make cognitive decisions that can lead you to a better place in life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So at 18, you know what I should have did? I shouldn't have left home.
Yeah.
Because over that span, I lived on my own. I had some roommates, but it's like a lot happened to me. A lot happened to me, and my parents were nowhere nearby. To get guidance or anything, especially because I wasn't letting them be nearby. I'm out there trying to prove it. I could be my own man. And that's a lot tougher to do than you think. If you got the option,
Yeah.
you know, I know everybody don't have both parents, but if you got the option, you know, to let yourself fully develop, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, look at some of the other races, man.
Yeah.
They might be 3, 4 cousins, an uncle, an aunt, a mom, a dad in one freaking crib.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So then, when you speak on that, it makes me think of two things. One, ego is the enemy, and two, you care about what people think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then that same way in my own life. 18, you know, I gotta get out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Feeling that same, trying to fill that same void of like what you start to realize. And that's also why I love this book so much.
Yeah.
You know, it's because it really gives a detailed analysis about being a superior man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not talk about like the responsibilities that make you a superior man. It's all in the mindset, the thinking, where your soul is at, and your presence to the current moment that makes you a superior man. You know what I'm saying? If somebody had told you from 10 to 18 that, hey, just because you rather you leave the house or you don't leave the house, you're still a superior man. You're still a great man. It might have made you rethink some things when you turned 18.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, for real.
If you had some cousins in your, you know what I'm saying? Or there's some people in your lineage that can come in and say, hey man, I know like right now, like, everything is at its hottest point for you. You know what I'm saying? You can't wait to go. You've been tired of being told what to do and this and that. You know what I'm saying? But hey, until your life is set up like this, and this, you're okay right where you are.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? How much more that would change you. You know what I'm saying?
No, for real.
Because especially when I was out, the second I was making like monthly, triple whatever I was doing the year previous, man, I blew through it.
Yeah.
But had the excuse of I'm being a man, got my own place, got my own car, I can do whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's not being a man, one.
And people lie to you. I won't say they lie to you, but they cap you. They cap you by telling you, man, you're young, you got all the time to figure it out. I mean, 21 to 27 seems like a goddamn blur.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, first off, let's debunk that.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Yo, nah. Like,
let's debunk that, bro. Not because age is just a number. You know what I'm saying? That's probably one of the truest statements that's ever been spoken on this earth.
Yeah.
Age is just a number. And I think a lot of times people think, oh, at 35, you're going to have it figured out. You may. But just like I know, we talked about a great book previous to this, The Compound Effect. Yeah, if your choices were in line with, having it all figured out by 35, then yeah, good job for you. But if your choices was, I'm young and I got forever to get this together, I guarantee by 35, you're going to still be living like you were 25.
And because the question to that is, what is having it? So let's say by 35, you got it, right? But you may only be the man that you need to be now.
Yeah.
So you still ain't attained any of the materialistic things you're probably expecting with having it, right?
Yeah.
So now you're the person you need to be. Now it's going to be taking another 5 to 7 years for you to attain the things that person's meant to attain.
Yeah.
So that's why I say they're lying to you, because they're saying you got all the time in the world. What'd you do at that time? You know what I'm saying? You know what? If you're young, next time somebody says, man, you're young, you got all the time in the world, I ask them what they do at that time to be saying that.
Facts.
Because in reality, they settled in life. They probably had a job that they didn't even want.
Yeah.
They're probably making moves that they do not want to be a part of.
Nice.
And everything in their life is probably completely against their nature.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they just have to.
Yeah.
And man, one of the biggest lessons I learned, man, what happens where I tell you, man, like, hey, man, take a break. You don't take a break, God gonna make you take a break. And I think at the time, the first time I told Jay, you didn't take a break. And then I think a few weeks later, sick as hell, like can't even like real, not like when I'm sick, I can come do my podcast. No, I can't move. Like I'm like incapable of working.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it was bad. I was like dizzy.
Yeah, man.
I was like in the bed for like 48 hours.
Man, it's like, and you can say God spoke to me to try to warn you. It's like, hey, I've been there though.
Yeah.
Because we ignore how easy it is to ignore something like that. But that's the way life works, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, don't try to skip over this, or you will be forced to go back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What was that thing Country Wayne said? Don't skip steps in life, so you always have something to fall back on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't skip steps in the process,
Yeah.
so you always have something to fall back on. And that's one of the realest things I've heard.
That's true wisdom. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that resting point, I think that's a very big point that we can speak on, because he covers that in the book. You know, and he speaks on like, hey, sometimes you may be in a point in life where, like, you know, you may not know what the next step is for you, and the best thing for you to do may be to take a break. You know, or, you know, regardless, you may be at a good point in life, but you're trying to feel lost in the moment. It's good for you to take a break. I want to touch on that because I feel like people don't truly understand how important rest really is. You know what I'm saying? I've been in points in life too where it's like high emotional things have happened, physical damage, mental damage, and I'm gonna just truck through it. You know what I'm saying? And somehow you feel stronger because of that, you know, and but in reality, you know, you're only weakening yourself. You know, because of those moments, because I didn't take, you know, 2 weeks off when certain things happened, it led to a whole year.
Yeah.
That had to be made up for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, we're not even talking about that moment. That moment, it was fun and games. I'm going for, 48 hours, whatever. I'm in bed because of the sickness or whatever. Have some smoothies, we cool, yeah, all good. You know what I'm saying? But like truly being at a point where it's like, hey, you're not resting, so now you're out here driving crazy, listening to music that's only amplifying your current state of mind, and now you're just ready to cause hell. Here comes this accident just to slow you down because you're not getting it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, insurance fiasco now because you didn't properly complete some other steps before that. Oh, okay, hold on a second. Life seems to be getting a little bit, you know what I'm saying, rough here now. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and hop in the rental because, hey, we got to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Now the rental's tour. Now I owe somebody money for the rental. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you see how fast these choices you make compound out. And you end up in a bad situation. You know what I'm saying? But he speaks on that in the book, it's important to take a break.
Yeah.
And knowing when
all
to
that
take
stuff
a break.
possibly might not happen if you take a day off.
It wouldn't happen. I can guarantee you it wouldn't happen. Only because when you understand that, like, when you think about certain things, especially high emotional things that will make you angry or something like that, after 72 hours, especially if you set for 72 hours, you would not be thinking about what was back there with the same degree of emotion 72 hours later. But when you're constantly, I just gotta get up and get to it. I'm making more money than I made. I just gotta keep going. Whatever, okay, money will solve it. And we touched on this in the previous episode too. It's like money is not enough. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that money is great, money's coming in, but money is not enough.
It's not.
So in that high emotional octane, the only thing I'm doing is adding fuel to my own fire. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
And that led to an inevitable break.
Because how many men get to the money and have the money and realize, like, whoa, was all those dark days and pain for this couple dollars? You know what I'm saying? Like, once you I went and bought the car and clothes and stuff I wanted, and then you're sitting there. Oh man, I think I was supposed to enjoy that journey. I think I was supposed to actually take in the moment on my way here, because now you just wronged people and you stepped over everyone and you did everything whatever you had to do to get there as fast as you could.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting there. Like, was this what it was for? Yeah. You're not a superior man.
You're not fully developed.
Your money's not even safe.
Yeah.
Your money's not even safe. You skip steps. Because I was just telling you this, man. You could go about life the right way or the wrong way. Yeah. If you bring the mindset of this is going to happen, it's likely to happen, right?
Yeah.
So even if I'm looking at things in a negative light, like I'm gonna have to step over people, I'm gonna scam people, You know what I'm saying? Because you could easily say, man, why does God allow somebody to steal that much money or to do those things? You know,
we talked about this.
They felt so strongly about that, the same way you felt about like your child living. You know, so they no matter what, they brought it into their world without understanding like what the repercussions of it coming like that was going to be. Yeah, you know, so it's like that's just very. You know, it's very real, man. Like, no matter how you look at it, you know, like what you know, how you bring that energy into this world is going to be a clear indication of why the things are happening to you the way they're happening to you.
Absolutely.
You know, and you know, there's a big point that actually brings me over to your purpose. Your purpose must come before your relationship. When a man prioritizes a relationship over his highest purpose, he only weakens himself and cheats his woman of an authentic man. Yeah. And I think that's even outside of a personal like boyfriend girlfriend relationship. Yeah. You know, that's like all your relationships.
Absolutely.
You know, you're taking when you start denying your purpose, you know, you are literally, and I love that he says that. He says you are weakening yourself and you're cheating the ones that this affect of an authentic man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's say, you know, you really care about your mom. You really care about your sister. You're cheating them of an authentic man when you're denying your purpose like that.
Now, how does that make you feel? You know what I'm saying? If you're out there and it's like, you know, I've been, you know, spending all this time making sure that my mom is good, my sister's good, my woman's good, but I don't feel fulfilled on the inside, even though things look on the other side great. That's because you're doing them a disservice.
Man,
you're not even actually placing good seeds, technically.
No, you're not.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, I don't think they fulfilled in that scenario.
Not at all.
You know, I think in that scenario, when you're denying yourself, the thing that hurts is you're not doing the things that you actually want. You know, like you might want to take your mom out a little more. You might want to buy her a house. You might want to do X, Y, or Z, but you can't because you're not even in line with your purpose, right? Yeah. And doing the things you need to be doing in your purpose. So now your whole life is just completely out of order. Yeah. And when you're sitting there out of order, you're sitting there in chaos. You're sitting there in the eye of the storm. You know? You're sitting there in the eye of the storm. Yeah. You know, and it's just a big difference between the old you and the current you, right? Like for the guests, kind of explain. What does the old you look like sitting in the eye of the storm, and what do you look like now sitting in the eye of the storm?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question for them and for me. I'll answer it too right now. You know what I'm saying? I
was asking you.
Yeah. Like for the guests, I was like, oh, great, the comment section again. You know, I have them all. But no, man, for sure. I think in the old me, it was very emotional. You know, I think that's the best way to sum it up. It was very emotional. You know what I'm saying? In the eye of the storm. Things right as rough as everything was getting knocked left and right. There's a whole lot of drinking going on. You know?
Yeah.
A whole lot
coping
of
mechanisms.
Escaping. Mm-hmm. You know? Now I think I have a phrase that best sums it up. I'm taking it slow. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to touch on that point though, as you said about family and women for a man. I think a lot of times it's an excuse. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of guys, like a lot of men, it's one of those excuses that's not an excuse. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, why didn't you do that? Because I wanted to be there for my family. I can't call you out on that because you're right. It probably was something real that was going on that, you know, needed your attention. Mm-hmm. But you know, like I know any man that's truly after his mission does not use his family as an excuse and to take care of the children and the house as much as you want. Just remember that if you give up your true purpose to do so, you're doing them a disservice. And you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, that's how the kids stop respecting you.
You
How the woman stops respecting you. Yeah. You know, that's how other people in your family stop respecting you because they look at you like, man, he don't even run his own household. You know? But you're a man that got a whole household.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like you have to be in the now.
Yeah.
Right? Because let's say you had the right mindset and that's how you got it. That's how you got a wife, kids, house. Like what? Like I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm paying the mortgage. Like we're, you know what I'm saying? I gave her what she wanted a nice house. And, man, you know what I'm saying? And then in the midst of it, maybe she says something that changes your mind. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Who knows why you ended up trying to do too much in the house and taking so much out of yourself from being that man. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. So, like you said, man, like that's something that it's very easy to get comfortable in those scenarios. You start to get comfortable. You might even told yourself, man, I just like hanging out with my kids. Yeah. That's nice. You should like hanging out with your kids. However, there is nothing on God's green earth you should be putting over your purpose. Yeah. What was the original point? You cannot put any relationship over your purpose. Your purpose must come before any relationship. Any relationship.
Relationship is a broad term.
Yeah.
Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband.
Right. But where do men miss that point the most? When they're trying to be with a woman. Yeah. When do men start to care about what others think the most? When they're trying to be with a woman. Right. Hey, I didn't care. I wrestled in high school. In wrestling, you got to wear like the singlet and, I'm saying, I think the first time I put it on, I was like, oh, this looks weird. Yeah, I think the second time I gave 0 fucks. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but had a girl been like, man, you look gay. Yeah. Ah, shit, hey, I'm out of here. Like, I'm about to go back on the basketball team. Like, right. Because naturally, as a guy, man, a lot of times you don't get too lost in what others think. But man, you put a woman in there, so much a change.
That's what I think a lot of guys know how to put that energy in the right place. I don't know if we're going to talk about this in part 1 or if we're going to talk about it in part 2. But just understanding that, every woman that passes you, every woman that has a thought about you, it's not being that energy is supposed to be held with you. Sometimes you're supposed to take it in, embrace it, and let it go.
Man, and I don't know. I definitely don't have it now. My first half, but taking away lust. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, cause that you just remind me of that part. It's like you take lust out of you. Like, how many of you guys can have a conversation with a woman and not lust?
How many women?
Like a woman that's attractive to you. A woman that's attractive to you. How many men? Because if you're a superior man, you can. Because you know how to embrace a conversation, embrace an interaction, not have lust for that person. Yeah. Not, miss the entire message or miss the point of that discussion because you didn't got lustful in the midst of it. Yeah. No, that's real as hell.
But that's powerful.
Very.
Hey, no, because you can talk about that. The way your conversations changed, I started giving women a lot more game when I took lust out of the picture. Man, the conversations became a lot more straight.
For real.
I took lust out of the situation.
And even though I'm doing Uber and Lyft or giving out a ride or something, it's like that discussion with a woman could be very different. Now, I might have a young woman in the car complaining about her boyfriend. I might tell her the damn truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, young lady, like, if he's doing that, it's probably another, or he probably don't like you the way you think he like you. Yeah. Because I'm tell you right now, when he all about you, you don't know. You ain't gonna have these compromising thoughts. Right. You're not gonna have these, and let this be a lesson. Stop letting the red flags add up. Because one thing he did speak on in the very beginning of Superior Man, he talked about I think it's like 3 or 4 stages, right? Yep. And in these stages, in the first stage, he says the first stage is for drawing the line of your own needs, right? Yeah. So in stage 1 of being with a woman, you have to first draw the line with her of your own needs, right?
Yeah.
So you can't let a woman, like he explained, right? Like if she's too emotionally hot to the point where her words are abusive to you, you know. And in the book, he even expresses that like the verbal abuse of a woman can hit just as hard as the physical abuse of a man.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not to say anybody that has been in domestic violence situations, you know, not discrediting your situation whatsoever. You know,
but women can.
but the woman's words.
Yeah.
And I said this to my mother, man.
Yeah.
Like when you said that, I don't think you understood how much that hurt me.
How deep it cut.
How deep it cut.
Yeah. It's just
You
like
know?
if you were to get, beat up by a man bigger than you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, no, it might not be either. Like I said, you got to call it even because it's like that shit can cut you so deep that you live differently the rest of your life.
Bro, a woman can protect or destroy based on what she says and what she does not say.
Yeah.
A man can destroy based on his actions, what he decides to do and what he decides not to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and that's a very real point. But that's the beauty in having this book in your possession.
Seriously.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think there's probably a lot of people. How many of those relationships are out there? You know what I'm saying? Like guys just get mauled apart by the woman's words.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Go forward, and it's not about you gotta hit her because she said this. Back, bro, at some point you can just walk away.
You draw a line.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
draw a line. You have to when you start getting them emotions right. When you start knowing that I draw the line here, you don't sit through a bunch of red flags. You don't. I mean, it's like when a girl be like, she threatens to leave you to get you to do something. You can get up out of here.
Yeah.
Nah, you can get up out of here. I can get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not. You're not gonna play with my mental like that.
Yeah.
I already know I have to deal with the emotional turmoils of having a strong and strong feminine nature woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And because a woman that's gonna be really into her feminine means she has to be way more in tune emotionally. You know, but a woman that has more masculine energy and less feminine energy, we can have a logical conversation about how to do something better. But you might not want to wake up to that every day. I don't want to always have a logical conversation with my woman, right? Sometimes it might not be, you know what, it's a day after Thanksgiving, she wants the tree up, she wants 3 trees in the house, but you know what, it's going to put a smile on my face to please her in this scenario.
Yeah.
Like, you know what, man, let's get these trees. Let's just get them up. You know what I'm saying? Halfway through it, you start enjoying them. It's like, you know what I'm saying? You're looking at your woman get happier and happier and happier because, hey, the holidays mean a lot to her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's an emotional draw.
Yeah.
You know? Is it logical? You know what I'm saying? Probably not. Come on, the day after we can do this like a week before. You know? No, but hey, she want to feel it now.
Yeah.
You know?
Keyword feel.
It now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like,
no, but I think that's a crucial point though, man. You have to just really draw a line in the sand between those 2 words, feel and thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And speaking about a woman who felt this way, there is no logic to that. It's a feeling. You can't argue that. You can't change that. You know what I'm saying? It's a feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I'll give you I wrote a lot for this one. I'll give you one of my final points to this amazing book, man. I'll give you 2 of them.
It's part 1 of this amazing.
Yeah, definitely part 1.
Yeah.
Do it for love. The way a man penetrates the world is the way a man penetrates his woman.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Man, so what does that really mean? The way you address things in the world will obviously show how you are with your woman. For an example, I mean, what they call it, like what did Kevin Samuels call it, a high value man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which I don't think that was a crazy term to use, right?
People got mad at.
Yeah, I don't, you know, maybe in his delivery or something, but for example, if you're a high value man per se, right?
Yeah.
Though that guy is very well with his woman, right? because that guy is very well within his business. Just look at his life. He's good in his business. He's good in his spirit. Yeah. He's good in his mental. You know, his body is his temple, and it looks like it. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's a routine to being a good, great man. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. How you, personified heavy. You know, so you can look at that man and know he is going to then probably penetrate this woman that same way. We're not just talking sexually. Yeah. You know, it's the day-to-day life. It's the feeling you bring to her with your presence, with your existence, with your movements. You know what I'm saying? And like that one, that's a huge one because it literally says, "Do it for love." Yeah. You know, which was that the second point I wanted to point out, which is live with an open heart, even if it hurts. Closing down in the midst of pain is denial of man's true nature. Yeah. You know,
I believe he finishes that with saying nothing that's happened has changed the one who you are.
Man, right? Yeah. Nothing, you know? So I think, you know, sometimes you look online, social media, you see so much stuff that's like, wake up at 6 a.m., go after it. You gotta kill it. You gotta get it. You're a bitch if you're not doing it like this. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's what masculine, you know what I'm saying? But in some cases that, you know, that's fine, you know, but that's not just masculine, you know what I'm saying? You know, because
right.
There's, you know, several ways of, you know, to look at that. Yeah. But you know, men, I understand. It's like, you know, there is a balance. I don't think we pointed this out. We all have masculine and feminine in us. Yeah. So I have to appropriate time for my feminine energy, right? So as a man, what's something feminine in your energy? Going out for drinks with the bros, going out to that basketball game. When did you see men walk around yelling? You don't. When do you see men get in groups together yelling like women? At bars, when they're together, at football games, when they're together. A man has to have space for that. Space to relinquish that energy, so he can be the man that he is, you know, or it gets hard on him. He gets depressive thoughts because he can only be masculine, and everything I do got to be tough, hard, and rigid, you know. But when you move like water, right? If you tough, hard, and rigid, you're breakable. You're not bendable. You know, you're not flexible. You're not soft. There's no softness to your energy. And if there's no softness to your energy, how can you embrace your woman? Right? Yeah. You gotta have some softness to your energy to even be able to embrace your woman. Yeah. Thus, you have to learn how to live from a place of love. You know, if you live from a place of love, you find that softness in your energy because you find ways to look at it better in a person, even in scenarios where it's like, I'm not gonna keep dealing with this person. But you come from a place of love, so you're not going to do things to hurt that person either. Right. You're not going to start doing petty things against that person either. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So it's like,
that's why it's important to make sure that in these scenarios that we've discussed today, you know, we talked about, you know, make sure that this woman is your woman. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And vice versa, obviously.
Mm-hmm. You got any final points you'd like to bring up?
Final points, man, I'll say,
I'll give you one more while you look real quick. Yeah. Lean just beyond your edge. Man's growth optimizes right over the edge. Yeah. I think he even says in the book to literally live life as if you went to the edge, you put one hand on the ledge and hung over it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at it like that. Like, the way I'm living my life is like, I'm not just stepping up to the edge and, is it okay down there? No, I am off the edge, hanging on. Yeah. Because I'm living right there. Yeah. You know? Right in that thin line of I'm not doing too much, but I'm always doing enough. Yeah. Always doing enough.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's a crucial one, though. It's highly overlooked, but he talks about it, in the book because it's a lot of those men in circles. You can trust those people.
Yeah.
You can trust those people. It's hard to trust somebody who's not living on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's real.
But yeah, man, I think in closing, a man's worth is based on his presence, his true depth of awareness. A man of a superior man is a way of deep gaze, breadth, and purpose, and it can't be fake.
His true depth and awareness.
Right now, you are knowing who you are at depth, or you're avoiding it. I think that's probably where it might be worth.
That last line. Say it again.
Sure. Right now, you are knowing who you are at depth, or you're avoiding it.
Let that be the question of your day. Literally, am I knowing who I am at depth, or am I in this moment right now avoiding that, avoiding opening up a couple more books, avoiding having a couple more, critical conversations with people that I know can help me. You know what I'm saying? Do I avoid the criticism from people that I know are speaking good in my life? And that's very real. That's very real. That's something that I feel like a lot of men today avoid.
Facts.
I don't think most men are like you said, knowing their depth. I think most men are avoiding it. And that's why I kind of like this era of the Kevin Samuels, the Andrew Tates. You know what I'm saying? Nah, am I saying I agree with everything they say? Like, no, I'm my own person. I can like them, but I agree with everything that come out their mouth. There's things in the Bible that I read and I'm like, man, God, that's the way you want it. It's like, hey, I didn't say I liked it, but it's written. Like, so it's like but this like era of that kind of information is helping young men put new standards and guidelines into their lives. And this is in the second half of the book, but I will say it. Read books that remind you who you are. I'm pretty sure it's at the end of the book, but he stresses that. And that's something that, definitely have picked up on. Like, hey, I'm going to make sure I'm reading these things, because in the midst of stuff, man, it's easy to get comfortable. It's easy to start forgetting what you've been practicing, what you've been working on. So it's good to keep those reminders. Read books that clearly remind you who you are. I think sometimes we listen to too much music, thinking it's reminding us who we are, versus reading a good book, that was reminding you that. You can notice it too in your own life, the difference between reading books, listening to a lot of books, listening to a lot of music. You know what I'm saying? Listening to a lot of music will make you feel like you're eating some bad food. Mentally. Reading a lot of good books make you feel like you're eating a lot of healthy food. Healthy, great food.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
And next time you listen to music, it feels like a cheat day.
Man. Right,